¿Quién te ve, nombre chiquita? Ay, Lupita, así que sí, dame cinturita, así que sí, dame cinturita, sí, 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 dame
Good evening,
cinturita.
everybody.
Ay, Lupita,
Thank you for being with us in another show of Full Circle Conversations.
Thank you.
I'm Gustavo,
Houston.
and so today I want to go ahead and hit a specific topic that I was able to go ahead and speak of in Spanish for the Spanish audience yesterday, and that topic is starting from scratch. In life, we all hit those obstacles where, you know, uh, life just kind of hits the reset button for us, and we're forced to go ahead and do it all over again.
Yeah, to reassess. Sometimes reassess, sometimes just react. Sometimes, we don't even get to actually sit down and collectively have a thought about how we're going to start things again. We just react. Fight or flight, fear, sometimes is a big mover for the human mind to start conceiving what it might want to step into or step out of. Fear really sometimes guides that. So starting from scratch, and we're using the I guess you could say a tool in the acronym of God. Yeah,
Exactly.
so
Which a lot of people don't understand that acronym of God, of God. You can go ahead and elaborate a little more as to what it means. But before we get to that,
yeah,
I want to go ahead and just be honest with the public. This topic of conversation for today that we are speaking of, this is not something that we haven't gone through it. Like I mentioned yesterday, I consider myself an expert at starting from scratch. I've gotten to take away a lot of good learning experiences from it, such as that willpower. You know, a lot of people don't understand that willpower it has to be practiced. If you don't practice willpower, you will never be able to enhance
Absolutely.
that ability. Um, and sometimes when we're put in a situation where we have to start from scratch, it takes is willpower. It takes you not giving up.
right.
It takes you saying, you know what, I will not be put down by this certain situation, because at the same time, with starting from scratch takes you right up to our first episode of mindfulness, because you got to be mindful
Right.
and be in the present,
Aware.
aware of what's going on, of your surroundings. That being said, we understand that starting from scratch is not easy.
No.
Starting from scratch is one of the hardest things that any human being can do. It's hard, not impossible. It's not impossible. Some of the most successful people have had to start from scratch multiple times.
Takes a little bit of an imagination. Just putting yourself, it's like you almost have to see yourself already at the result, in a sense, because you want to start to get yourself on the right foot, and some of that is just realizing that maybe you don't have the blueprint, but you can create it. And so that's the when we speak about um, the God acronym of, so this would be a process more than really a religious tool. It's a way that we can use this acronym to show how we can process ourselves from generating to dissolving, so that we can start from scratch. I mean, this is the whole matter of starting from scratch, is really to start to generate, to oscillate, and then to dissolve. So at some point, you have to go through all of these processes so that you can manifest what it is that you're trying to generate ultimately. So we're gonna get into that. So that's basically a big tool for me, and just like alluding to is just the mindfulness, the awareness to realize that there is a process that you need to go through, that you have to kind of discipline yourself in that matter. Don't ignore it. Don't wait for somebody else to restart things for you. Don't wait for somebody to start something from scratch for you. So that's like I was saying before, is like a lot of the a lot of the circumstances that we fall into and where we feel like we're starting from scratch is more so we start from a fear base.
Yes.
We start from fear. Oh, I gotta do this because if I don't do this, then this is gonna happen. And really, when you start to generate, the trick of it is not seeing a goal. Don't see a goal in your generative operation. You don't want to generate a goal. You want to more so generate an intention. You want to generate an idea. Then you take that idea and you bring it into, this is the generative part. Now we bring it into the oscillative part, which is more of the mother aspect, where you start to say, all right, I'm taking this idea and this intention and I'm going to start practicing it. I'm going to start a pattern.
Yeah.
Of, just like you said, willpower. This is where your habits, good habits and bad habits, this is where they live, in this operative, oscillative section of the God process. So you're looking at it as though, now I've taken this idea, I've made patterns, I'm showing myself, hey, listen, maybe I have an idea that I want to start moving more. I want to start eating more healthy. So what this is actually doing is, you're not saying, I want this type of body. And then at that point, what happens is, when you say, I want this type of body, you set a goal. And a lot of times we fear our goals because we make them so unattainable that we fear them. So we're coming up just with an idea. We start to say,
we start doubting ourselves.
You start to doubt yourself, and you start to say where I should be, based on,
comparisons. You start comparing yourself to, the society, to people around you. Well, he's my age, I should be kind of like right here. I should have been up there. And then we start with the blaming, and then a lot of us have a tendency to blame surrounding situations before looking at yourself and saying, yeah, that's out there, but ultimately this was my fault.
Right.
I should have done better research. I should have thought about it before pulling the trigger.
Right.
At the end of the day, it all boils down to you. One of the things about starting from scratch, in the GOD acronym, is that a lot of this situation that's going on when we're starting from scratch, and many of you have already experienced this. This is a normal experience. This doesn't make you a bad person. This doesn't make you stupid. This doesn't make you,
This makes you conscious.
This makes you human.
Yeah, this makes you somebody who's aware.
Yeah, who's aware.
Just like we were talking about through mindfulness, it's just like we said, to be mindful is to first be aware, then to, have hold of your emotions, and then ultimately, now your actions will show. Now, same thing in this process of starting from scratch. We start with an idea or an intention, and then we bring it into this field of our emotions, where we start to form patterns. When I get up in the morning, I allow myself to feel this emotion, that I'm feeling this emotion, this gratitude. I wake up with this. Now, if I start saying I want to start eating healthier, and I want to start moving a lot more. So what I start doing from there is, I generated that idea and that intention, and now I bring it into the oscillative part, where I start to show patterns to my reality that this is something that I'm pursuing. So the universe will conspire to make something happen for someone who has the willpower to move it. So now you're taking that part where you just oscillated, moving around a lot more. You're doing it. You're drinking water. You're eating healthy. You're showing these patterns day after day. Now we bring it to the dissolution or dissolving part of the acronym of the God process. This would be saying that now I took the idea, I started patterns to show that this is emotionally where my frequential Intentions are. Everything that I've taken is starting to culminate through here, to this middle pillar. Now, what parts of the old version of me are dying off? Because something, when you're going through this process, it's just like 369. 369 is 3 is the generative part, 6 is the oscillative part, and then 9 is the destructive part. Now, this would be to say, what are you destroying? You keep generating things, but what is it that you're destroying? Are you dissolving anything?
The old you.
Or are you just creating patterns? You know, so because like I said, there's patterns that come along with having an idea and an intention. If you have the idea and intention to be a liar, because you feel like maybe you need to do
It's
this.
because you've done it before. You have a consistent
maybe you
pattern
feel like
there.
this is something that you need to do at your new job. You need to start maybe lying about some things, and now you're carrying out this pattern, and you have to live the lie now. But what happens is, what are you dissolving? You're dissolving any chance for potential or any growth in your life to happen. So a lot of people are stuck in the generative operative stage, but they don't really dissolve much of anything. Nothing. They don't dissolve anything. They'll see a good thing happen in their life, and then they never balance it out with giving something of themselves. This is like how in church they'll say, give your 10%. This is to give something of yourself. Yeah, to realize it's joy is in service. Joy is in service to others. So when you're out here and you're doing everything on the GO, you're generating, oscillating. You're not having any consideration.
You're wasting
for the
energy.
process.
You're wasting energy. There's no rest in the pattern.
Right.
Every machine needs to have a period of off.
Right.
You know, or else you burn the engine. Like I said, you're wasting energy.
This is even when we're on the road, bro. When we're on the road, you see a traffic light. One of them is telling you to generate, one of them is telling you to oscillate, and one of them is telling you to destroy. The generate, your green light. The yellow is telling you you need to oscillate.
Slow down.
You need to slow down. You need to find control.
Be vigilant. Look at what's going on.
Right.
Be observant.
Right. So now you're in that operation, and then red, destroy.
Means that's it. Stop.
Now you're static. So you're seeing this constantly. It's in the car. The generator of the car, the engine. The operator of the car, you're driving it. The destroyer of the car is the exhaust. Okay? So now you see this process. It lives in your reality day in and day out. So if you start to operate from scratch with the intention first, then a lot will follow through with your patterns and how you decide how you really want to conduct yourself. Maybe if you're trying to eat healthier, that you're making healthier decisions, that maybe you don't eat that late night snack, and you show yourself discipline. And when you show this to yourself, you're opening the doors of opportunity to what it is you're going to do next. I mean,
to start from scratch, not only it speaks on many levels about the individual.
Right.
First of all, to start from scratch, I believe, and I touched the subject yesterday, it's a silent battle. Because no one knows that you're starting from scratch, obviously, unless if you voice it. But most people, they keep that on the DL.
Right.
And they just keep to themselves, and they let their thoughts and ideas eat them alive.
Right.
And that's when we have stress come about. And this is when stress takes the best of us, and now you start having problems, marital problems with your kid. You can't see eye to eye with your coworkers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But starting from scratch, looking at it from a positive aspect, what it really means is that you are strong enough to rebuild. Can we analyze that real quick? The ability to rebuild, it takes a strong individual to rebuild.
Yeah.
Anybody can build. But to build, destroy, and rebuild, you have it in you. We all have it in us. Right.
For sure.
So, I mean, I keep saying, I say this to my kids all the time. And I said, you know what? You guys have greatness within you. and this is, rebuilding is one of the greatness we were all blessed.
Right.
Be grateful.
Right.
Breathe.
Yeah.
Breathing is so important.
Right. This is also like, if you think about it, how the monks, the Tibetan monks, a lot of times they'll create the mandalas with the sand, yeah.
Yeah.
And what they do is they create it, and what they're showing is the generative operation of creating the mandala. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of technique. These are all things, but these are all things that they're using to fine tune their consciousness.
Absolutely.
So what they're realizing is that they're going through and they're creating patterns. These are all patterns. This is everything that we're speaking about right here is really just kind of like the blueprint of life. You're going to generate, oscillate, and destroy. That's why we are lowercase g's. We're lowercase gods. We are, and that's might be
we're created.
that might be controversial.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't think that they warrant that type of title.
Yeah.
But really, you since the day you were born, something had to die for you to live. And the moment you came here, you started to generate, and you were already generating a body, and then operating that body, and destroying through the whole gestation process. This is to generate the energy, then operate the energy, and then destroy.
Yeah.
To let it go, to let it come out. And this process of letting it out is to allow what comes after it to give you the nutrients that you're gonna have after you just let go of everything else in your body. So this process is found so much in the blueprint of life in general. So that mandala, they're creating it, they're generating it, they're operating it, they're finding they're making patterns within it. It's beautiful. And then at the end of it, they destroy it.
Yeah.
And that is really the whole process of life. So using it as this tool, and
as a guide,
a process that you can easily tie into your everyday. I mean, it's really operate. Just like I said, waking up in the morning, just having that know-how to say, all right, well, I'm breathing.
Yeah.
Oh man, like
breathing,
I was just sleeping.
Just alone. Yeah.
I was just sleeping. What allowed my body to go through that whole process of being almost unanimated to waking up and into a whole new day?
Just think about it this way.
Man.
Your computer doesn't turn on by itself.
Nah.
You turn on by yourself.
You make it have meaning.
Yeah. Like
you make it have meaning.
We make it have meaning in every aspect of it. Whether you want to look at it as, willpower, you're harnessing that willpower because you're making it stronger, because maybe that is what some of us need, stronger willpower, so that we can go ahead and not stay in a constant state of generating, oscillating, which is also translated to constantly starting from scratch.
Yo los persigo y los hago reales, por eso las expectativas rompo. Lo mío es demostrar, yo ni ronco.